Hey guys, so today, instead of the usual reaction video, I thought I'd just talk to you about some of the things that I've learned about small engine repair. Mostly what I wasn't quite expecting. Come, let's go take a look at some of the things I've got in the back. So when I got into small engines, first engine I worked on was a Briggs. And honestly, decent engine. I learned a lot working on it, but I've learned a lot since about the other engines that a lot of people have talked about, and one of them is, well, Honda. And yeah, Honda are great engines. Fantastic engines, absolutely. The problem is they're incredibly finicky to work with, especially the carburetor with all the gaskets and everything. It's not so bad when they switch to using the studs, but on their older ones where you were having to use the long bolts, basically you had to build the carburetor and feed the bolts in and pinch everything together and hope you don't drop everything or accidentally damage the gaskets or hope you don't have anything out of order, because if you do, well, now you got to put it all apart and redo it again. And yeah, it's a little bit of a pain. They're great when it comes to operation, very reliable, but working on them, not the most fun. I think next up might be these ones, these Briggs Quantums. They're actually fairly simple to work on. Carburetors on these, well, they're actually pretty robust. If the engine ever stops working because of a carburetor problem, these ones are actually really easy to get going again. And then back here we have the commercial version, the Honda GX390. It's a big 11 horsepower engine. Or is this one the 340? Oh, the 340, that's right, the GX340. So, yeah, this one has a big 11 horsepower engine, and it doesn't run. I've been meaning to do a video on this, get this thing running again, but I haven't yet gotten around to it. One of these days I will, one of these days. It was on a questionnaire before, on a vote, to see what I repair first, and this was dead last, so yeah, I never bothered to get around to this, but I'm thinking of getting this one going very soon. So I have 3 of these, and all of them need to start running again. So expect videos coming up in the near future on these ones. I have another couple of weed eaters back here. I can't remember what exactly was wrong with these ones, although I think one of these may have worked, but it leaked. Or, oh, never mind. It's the usual. It's missing the air filter cover and all that fun stuff. So that's one of the reasons why it's not being used. Yeah. So unfortunately, yeah, there's a couple weed eaters back here, and I don't believe either of them work because, well, yeah, since that one's missing the air filter cover, I never bothered to try to get it working. This Poulon, it does work, but unfortunately the tank leaks fuel, so it just sits back here for the time being until I can figure out a way that I'm going to get the tank fixed. Although it's not the tank that leaks, it's leaking around the fuel lines, which is pretty typical for a top-mounted tank. But other than that, this thing had a lot of power and it ran great, and except for the fact that it leaks fuel all over you while it's running. So I still have a few in here that need a little bit of work. Now these I think are the simplest. Like the simplest of all the Briggs to work on is this style. Maybe not exactly like this one, because that carb, it's a little more complicated than the one with the primer bulb, but these engines, very dirt simple and very easy to work on, and they're pretty much bulletproof. I mean, they're like the pinnacle of, if you neglect an engine, these ones, they take a beating, and yet they just keep running. It's almost like they love to be abused. Well, I guess no engine likes to be abused, but these ones, they just kind of shrug it off and keep on running, provided there's at least a something that identifies as oil in it, which is actually what leads me to the most surprising thing that I found working on. These things are awesome, absolutely awesome. See, I went into the whole thing thinking that, oh, Tecumseh are junk, and honestly, I'll still swear by it. Yes, Tecumseh are junk, and it's not a design standpoint. It's a manufacturing standpoint as to why they were junk. They were incorrectly used. I mean, which other mower has a pump on it. Like, think about it. There's no other vertical shaft engine that I can think of that has a built-in oil pump. All of the rest of them, they just sling the oil up against the walls and hope for the best, whereas the Tecumseh actually had an oil pump in it. So that makes it a much better design, except it's used in equipment that is notoriously neglected. And because of the oil pump, if it was just a little bit too low, it didn't work and the engine would just fall apart. I mean, it's neat. The design that they put into this, the little bit of engineering, and to put an oil pump into this, it's kind of crazy. Instead of the usual oil slinger that just dips into the oil and splashes it around, this one uses a plastic. I don't have any pictures. I don't have anyone, but I do have. I guess I can use a clip from. Yeah. So this part here is that's the oil pump, and the way it works is it's on the crankshaft, and it dips repeatedly down into the oil, and because of the motion, it forces oil up and through the tube, and well, it ends up being under pressure, and well, through the hydraulic action, squirts up into the cylinder, and it's better lubricating. But again, these were terribly neglected. And so, because they used a lot more in the way of lightweight materials, lightweight flywheel, lightweight crankshaft, lightweight connecting rod, so if they were neglected, they would just break apart very easily. And because of that fact, because people would have a Briggs engine, they would neglect it, and they're like, oh yeah, this is a great engine. Then they would go to a Tecumseh, and they would repeat the same process of neglect, and this engine would blow apart. And so yeah, unfortunately, these got a bad rap because of that. This carburetor is also a pain in the butt, just because of the way it's designed, but these work really well when they're working, and these engines run really smooth. Now yeah, these ones kind of get all the glory, the Briggs Quantums, because well, they're fantastic engines. I'm not going to lie about it. These things are amazing engines. I really like working on these. As I said, carburetors, they're very easy to work on. The engine comes apart very easy. Everything's accessible. Yeah, the Briggs Quantum, there's nothing I can say that's really bad about it. I mean, even the plastic cam, whatever. I mean, what can you do? It is what it is. That's just the way Briggs went. But it's been that way for a while, and these engines are decent. Do they wear down? Yeah, they eventually do, because well, it uses a softer material. But they last a long time before that happens. But unfortunately, a lot of them, they ended up like this, and that's just the way it goes when you consider the cost of a lot of the mowers that use these engines. They were cheap, and as such, they were neglected. This one, I don't know. It's a 6.5 horse, the wonderful Eager 1 lineup of Tecumseh engines, and it ain't so eager. This one just sits here, 0 compression. I can just spin it with my fingers, and that's with the plug in. So I don't know. Piston moves and the valves move, so maybe one of the valves isn't seating properly all the way, or maybe head gasket's blown, or what. I don't know. That's an upcoming repair video. It's just one of those things, unfortunately. I have no idea. I haven't yet gotten into it, but stay tuned. That video is coming up. But this is the one where I learned something very interesting about Tecumseh. This engine, not particular to this one in general on this mower, but this style. And that was from that tiller that I have, because that Honda engine on that tiller wasn't always there. It used to be an engine almost identical to this one. So that's when I learned about the unique things about Tecumseh engines. They use a lightweight flywheel, they use a lightweight crankshaft, and they use a lightweight connecting rod, all because they put all the momentum and inertia into that big, heavy spinning blade. And I tell you, you try to start a Tecumseh engine without a blade on it, at least the vertical shaft ones, and oh boy, your knuckles are singing afterwards, because wow, they like to punch you. Yeah, it was one of these engines like this that I learned very much how strong kickback really can be. But once it was running, it was great. So what was it that I learned about small engines that was surprising? It's a good question. And the surprising thing is, I went into working on these things thinking that Tecumseh are absolute garbage engines, because everything I've read, everybody I've watched online, so many of them have the exact same response when it came to Tecumseh engines. They're junk. They're terrible. They're very poorly designed. And honestly, for a lawnmower, they were poorly designed. They were a little bit over-engineered for a lawnmower, actually having a high pressure pump inside. Like that's crazy for a lawnmower. It's just splash it, guys. Like you guys went a little bit too far on this thing. It is what it is. That's the route they went, and unfortunately, because of that extra little bit that they went, it led to them being a worse design overall, which of course Tecumseh no longer exists, and now we're stuck with MTD using Chinese engines. Well, to be fair, the Chinese engines, they're not the worst. They're not, well, let me rephrase that. The Power Smart engines, I haven't heard anything good about. But the Power Mores, the larger one at least, the 173cc, which is more closely related to a Honda, those ones so far I haven't had too much to complain about with those, other than when they get all emissions crazy, such as that Craftsman that I worked on, that I pulled the engine off of for a Honda. And then yeah, as you saw earlier in the video, I've got this Yardman, and you know what, it runs. So I'll give you guys a treat. Let's just fire it up and hear it run and watch it smoke. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what the fuel is that this thing's running on, because it doesn't smell like gasoline, but it pretty much runs like it. Come on, pink mower, get out of the way for now. Yeah, I have no idea what the heck this thing is running off of. That's not gasoline. It doesn't smell like it either. It smells like paint thinner. Well, it's got lots of oil, and it's very black. Got an NGK. I wonder. Let's see if it'll restart no problem. Well, that's not a bad score. And the price was right, $60. And it works. Right on for a Yardman. How about that? Right, guys, so that's pretty much it. It really surprised me that the one that got the worst rap is the engine I like working on the best. So that's probably one of the reasons why there's so many Tecumseh engines on my channel. And I hate to say it, but you can probably expect more. Speaking of which, that John Deere I have in the back, that one under there, well, you can expect a video in the winter, so hit that subscribe button below. That way you don't miss any future uploads. Like the future video involving that snowblower where I drop a new engine onto it. Yes, could I get that one going? Honestly, I could. Would it make a good video? It would. Would an engine replacement video work out okay on it and be a good video? It would. But that's a 7 horsepower engine. The one I want to put onto it is an 8 horse, which is what that one is. an 8-horse. And these old Tecumseh engines, these Snow Kings, they are an absolute beast. So as you can see, guys, I have a whole bunch of videos lined up coming up for the future, such as the summer, with a lot of lawnmower videos, trimmer videos, generators, and yeah, a couple motorcycle videos, and probably the odd one here or there on a Volvo or on a Juke, or who knows what other things in between. If you don't want to miss them, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Right, guys, hit that thumbs up, and look forward to seeing you all in the next one.